Hey YouTube, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. This is Miss Ashley Nicole, and good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope your day is going well. Hope everything is good. Your week is starting off well. You're starting to get some of those goals out the way, right? I wanted to come to give commentary or my reaction about the Derrick Jaxn interview. Now, y'all, uh, I know I'm late because she had this interview probably like a week ago. I think it was like a week ago. And I watched it and I was trying to figure out if I wanted to do a commentary on it. And so I thought today would be the perfect time because I had time. And so, y'all, first off, I'm gonna just get right into it. These are just my opinions. This is my commentary and just my reaction on the interview and kind of what I thought about it. I just like to have discussions about some of this stuff that I see because sometimes I'm like, and mind you, y'all know I hear stuff every day. Nothing really shocks me, but sometimes I get surprised because it's like even though we hear these stories, we hear these situations, people still continue to put themselves in situations where they see red flags. And to be honest, I don't even know if she recognized the red flags, but we'll get into that. But this was like, I felt really, really sad for Danae. Um, and I'm pretty sure most people have already, seen the interview and things like that. But the first thing I wanted to point out, because I had wrote some things down when I was watching it, and I'm like, this is, it was kind of odd to me. First off, knowing that she basically was like traumatized in this relationship she was in with Derrick, and now going on to someone's podcast, a male podcast, right? Her kind of telling her story. It was like I felt like a little taken aback because he was basically like laughing the whole time, and he was chuckling at some of the things she said, and she was kind of minimizing her situation. Right, she was minimizing it because she was chuckling too. She was giggling at some of the stuff that maybe she now has thought hindsight is 2020. So now she thinking back like, girl, what was you doing? Like you you were really taking this, abuse, right? And so maybe that's why he felt comfortable with kind of giggling at the situation, trying to make light of it because it was so serious. And so that was my first point about, because I was trying to figure out like, why is he like really, I mean, he got a key out of it, like the whole interview. And then I was like, well, maybe the second reason is that like this is, I've never watched anything on this person's channel before, but maybe that's how he approaches his podcast, like making light of the situation. Things are not so serious, trying to maybe make the person feel comfortable. I don't know, but it was just kind of odd based on what she was saying and the information she was sharing. He was kind of laughing about it. I'm like, this is not laughable. This is really sad. And at one point, Danae did say, she was like, no, this is serious. Like when I think about what I'm about to say, like this is, serious. Like it's really not funny. So that was the first thing. I was like, why is he laughing at everything? Now, y'all know as a therapist, I looked at this and listened to everything that she said, and I was like, wow, red flags from the beginning. Hence my thumbnail. She went from being a tutor to a wife, which is fine. I mean, I'm sure it's tutors out there that were, people that were tutors in college and they met their future husband, child, who knows? But the biggest thing was that she met him 3 weeks after being sexually assaulted. And so, and I'm sure at the time because she said she didn't tell anybody, she didn't even tell Derrick for a long time after, they were married. And that was in like casual conversation. So he never knew, And of course, she probably at the time didn't know what to do with what happened to her, how to cope, how to manage her feelings, and, probably in denial, shock, and all of that, right? But then after 3 weeks after this happened, by somebody, it appears that she knew, right? Or that her family knew, or that she, appeared to be kind of maybe close with, or whatever. She walks into her class, a class, and here come Derrick talking about, have you ever been a model? Boy, what? I mean, okay, I forgot what she said, what year of college they were in. Maybe they were freshmen or sophomores. I think they might have been freshmen. So okay, like this your pickup line, I guess. And he like, have you ever been a model? And so she was looking like, what? Too. And she said she had all of these pictures on her binder, like from when she was in high school. And, I guess the pictures, the way she had the collage, it was almost like she was a model. Child, I don't know. But I guess it appears that she was thinking that this is why he asked her that, right? And so she like, oh yeah, like I was, yeah, I guess I used to do a little modeling in high school. I took, pictures and stuff like that. And then it turns into, can you be my tutor? Okay. So Danae had already said that she was, the kind of like the, what someone probably would describe her as being, kind of very smart, very intelligent, into her school books, a bookworm, things like that. And she was about her schoolwork and all of this stuff, right? And so she said she had on, her glasses and all of this, and the way that she described herself, it didn't appear that she was one of these girls, walking around campus just dressed to the nines with her makeup on, and all that stuff, right? And she was just going to class, getting her education. And so this dude comes and says, have you ever been a model? Right? And then asked her to be his tutor. Okay, she agreed. Sound like it. Long story short, she started being his tutor. And some kind of way, I don't know if it was because the amount of time they were spending together, because she said, oh, we started spending more and more time together. And then after like a couple of weeks, they were, basically planning their life. Now, when she said that, I was thinking, were they talking about this together? Like, oh yeah, when we graduate, we're gonna get married and this is this, or was she thinking it? Like, it appears to me that maybe she had these thoughts because remember, he was like, I think he was a football player, he was a jock or whatever, came up to this girl who was kind of like a bookworm, probably wasn't worried about who played sports at the school or none of that. She was trying to do her schoolwork, child. And now it's kind of like she had the idea like, oh, somebody like you likes me, like this job like somebody like me, and so she got in her mind that he was not getting away from her. Like she even said that, girl, Danae, you didn't hit the jackpot. Look at you didn't came up and all of this, like you got this nice, looking man and all this stuff, girl. You better do what you can to keep him. And that she did. Danae said that she was, now mind you, both of them college students, right? Danae said that she was making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, asking him, how do you want it? Do you want the crust off? Do you want the crust on? Do you want me to cut it in the diagonals? Like, what do you want? Like, I will do it, right? Just to say, or probably too, to be seen with someone like him that she felt like was the best thing since sliced bread, child, and that he liked her, right? And so that was where I'm like, that is that's a red flag. Like you could tell that maybe at the time, and probably still now, that the self-worth was not there. The being able to discern and decipher when someone comes to you, right? And probably not at the beginning, but as time goes on, realize that, oh, he just wanted me to be his tutor. Like, oh, he's saying all this, but this ain't nothing but game, right? Like, it sounded like she wasn't able to kind of decipher or discern that that's what it was. And based on what she was saying, it appeared that's what it was to me. Like, this man didn't really like you from the beginning, not like that. It sounds like he wanted you to be his tutor. And he could call you to do their homework, because sometimes in college, child, those athletes, oh, they need help. They need somebody to help them do that work, right? Either they gonna find a person, or the coach gonna find a person. They might have somebody assigned to the team that's gonna help them with their schoolwork and all this stuff, so they can continue to play in them games, right? So he probably saw, okay, yeah, she'll bookworm, she do her work, she know this class well, she always come to class, blah blah blah. Let me ask her to be my tutor. It sounds like that's what he was looking for, but then after a while, she's like, oh yeah, we spending so much time together, we together. But that ain't what he was thinking. This girl said that this woman said basically all throughout college he was cheating on her. But then I said, okay, let's take a step back, Dania. Did he know that y'all was in a relationship? Like, it don't seem like he really knew that. It seemed like she said this is what it is. But he didn't really know that, because she was spending so much time with him. She like, oh yeah, I go with him. But he wasn't thinking that he go with you, right? So she said that he was charming, he was funny, and all of this stuff. This is the game, girl. Now, I think she was saying too that, before she got to college, the way that she was raised and stuff, she was raised in the church and things like that. And it's all fine and good. But sometimes some people, and I hear it every day, y'all, some people, not everybody, right? That are raised in the church and things like that, that is like laser focus, right? Because it's like the number one coping skill. If they don't have that, then their life would seemingly fall apart if they don't have the Bible, church, God, to lean on, right? And so it's like she's so laser focused on that, like this is her belief of the world. Like, she don't really know anything else, right? She don't really, kind of like being naive, right? She don't really know that people could take advantage of you. She don't really understand that everybody is not for your good. You know what I'm saying? And so she had to go through this experience to really realize that, right? So, okay, so that was that. Then she said that she tried to get him from all this cheating, because remember, she said that he was cheating throughout college. It was always other girls and things like that. And so the interviewer, he asked her, okay, well, did you do anything? Were you stepping out or whatever? And she was like, basically, she made him think she was playing games, right? Basically making him think that she was messing with somebody, but she really wasn't, so that she could get him to see, like, oh, if I better stop what I'm doing, because now she's stepping out or whatever. But he didn't even pay attention to it, Danae. He didn't she said she borrowed some dude's car, or some dude that she worked with borrowed his car, and tried to make it seem like she was in his car, but they had the same car and all of this. And he did not even pay attention to none of it. He went on and kept on cheating, right? And I'm like, okay, at that point, when you say, okay, this ain't what I thought it was, or okay, let's have a conversation about, okay, do we really go together, or like, is it just like a college thing? You know what I'm saying? But nothing came to her, made her think like, okay, let me have a conversation with him, right? Okay, so then she said that, so I got the impression that he really didn't care. He didn't care about what this girl was doing, what she was doing, what she wasn't doing, because he was doing him, right? And so now, fast forward to another thing that I noted, that she was saying basically the whole relationship he was cheating. And so I guess at some point they decided to separate or whatever. And she moved to Atlanta, right? And some kind of way he moved to Atlanta too. And so she was saying that she was still messing with him and things like that. And she got to a point to say that she was passing women on a stairway, like at his apartment, like, oh, I did my shift. Now it's time for you to do your shift. Like, girl, my turn done. Now it's your turn. I know you lying. I know you lying. It ain't no way. Your self-esteem got to be so low for you to subject yourself to something like that. For you to not only think that it's happening, but that you see it, right? You see somebody. The way that she described it, it appears several women, going to the apartment, coming when she going and they, you know what I mean? And vice versa. For you to continue to subject yourself to that. And then after all of that, you still got married to the man. Why? Why? Right? Now she described, oh my gosh, he had this big engagement. My family was there. It was beautiful. This. And I think by that time, maybe he was making a little bit of money or whatever as the I don't even know what he called himself, because I had never seen him or heard him or anything like that. Do he call himself a guru or a relationship coach? I don't know. But I think by this time maybe he was making a little bit of money. So he had this big extravagant engagement or whatever. And was it because of the appearance? Because remember, going back to her thinking, oh my gosh, this wonderful man, he looked good, he got muscles, he's successful and things like that. All of a sudden, she thinking that he likes somebody like me still, right? And so again, it goes back to the self-worth of not having enough self-confidence, not having enough self-worth within yourself to, right? Something don't seem right. Hi, Ari. Something doesn't seem right. Right? And so, I'm like, okay, after all of that, you still got married to this man. Now, mind you, and then, okay, so then another point, she says that they had a 9,000 square foot house, right? Do you know how big a 9,000 square foot house is? And told her that he needed to get a condo for his studio. You got plenty of room at home. What you need to go get a condo for a studio? You can make the studio, and if you live in Atlanta, most likely you got a basement, right? You could have put your studio in the basement. Why are we getting another condo? Why are we getting a condo for you to just have a studio? Nope, something ain't right. Something not right. Now, she also said that she went through postpartum with her first child, with her second child. So it's no telling what mind frame she was in, because postpartum could take you out for real. Like postpartum is very serious. It could get you to a point where you are so low. People have, thoughts about hurting themselves, harming the baby, all kinds of stuff, y'all. And so her having to probably figure out what he doing, but then also trying to take care of her kids and take care of herself and stuff like that, it's too much. So it's kind of like, as a mom, of course you're gonna choose your kids. Like, you get to a point where it's like, I don't care what he doing, I don't know what he doing, I don't know where yet, but you got to feed your kids, somebody got to take care of them. So that's what the focus is, right? So she probably don't even know half the stuff this man was doing, right? But she ended up finding out what he was doing at the condo, and she still stayed. She still stayed. Now, mind you, this woman, I would imagine, graduated college, right? I heard her say nothing about what she kind of did for herself after graduating college. Like, did she go into her career? Did she get a job in what she went to school for? She ended up helping him. She ended up helping him with his business, hiring people, probably firing people, making sure payroll was paid while he was on the internet fronting. Girl, it ain't no way. It ain't no way. I'm like, this is crazy. Now, on top of all of that, Danae said that she got pregnant the third time. right? And she said that she was talking to God and said, God, I already had 3 abortions. My jaw hit the floor. I said, what? You mean this? So she has gone through, this lady has gone through so many traumatic events. Go back to her being sexually assaulted, go back to her having 3 abortions, go back to her living through a traumatic event of her husband cheating on her, her boyfriend cheating on her, right? Um, this is all traumatic. Hey, Pastel, how are you? I'm well. How are you? Thank you for joining. So she has had so many traumatic events in her life, and now we come to present day, right? And Danae and Danae said, "I'm an infidelity coach." Danae, you can't be. You could probably tell somebody your story just like she just did, right? On this interview. But being a coach to someone, I'm not really sure, and this is in my opinion, that Danae is ready for that, right? Danae had to leave Atlanta, move back to Denver with her family after she married someone who became successful, got a 9,000 square foot house. She got 3 kids, and you had to move back to your mama house. Girl, mm-mm. Your confidence is low. Your confidence low because he would have got a mouthful. He would have got a mouthful, and uh, no, this is me in the kids' house. You could go stay at that condo that you said you had to buy for the studio and figure out what you're gonna do. But my kids need somewhere to lay their head, and this is what you have for us. So then that's what it's gonna be. She had to drive from Atlanta to Denver. She said her mom got on the flight, came to came with them, I guess, so she could probably drive back with her. And I want to say she said it was what, like 12 hours or something. Why couldn't you get on the flight with your kids to get to your mom's house? You mean to tell me you had to drive? No. Uh-uh. That tells me that the type of stuff that she was describing tells me that this man never cared about her at all. And maybe after a while, I'm wondering like if he felt like he was obligated to marry her, or like he felt bad at some point. I mean, maybe, I don't know. He felt bad at some point to say like, oh, um I put her through all of this, and she been, what do they call, ride or die, basically, because she put up with all of it. Okay, she deserved now all of a sudden to be a wife. Oh my God. I couldn't believe that stuff she was saying. And all of this stuff she said throughout the interview, the interviewer, I can't even remember the man's name, he was giggling. And I'm like, why is he laughing? What's so funny about this situation? Like, it's really sad, right? That she has had to go through all of this. And I think she was trying to take accountability too. Like, yeah, girl, I put up with it. I put up with it. Even though I saw the women coming down the stairway or going up the stairway, I kept going over there. I kept going over there. Got pregnant again, right? Um, and so I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe all of this. So now she's saying she's an infidelity coach. You could get coaching from her, or you could go to her retreat. I think she was saying, and I can't remember how much it is, but it was like an exorbitant amount amount of money, like I think it was like $5,000 for her to be your infidelity coach. Girl, all you got to do is go to therapy every week. That if you were in Florida, you might pay like you paying out of pocket, like like maybe 220, 225. If you got insurance, you're gonna pay less than that. You mean to tell me you get ready to pay $5,000 for someone who, in my opinion, she has not um she's not to the point where she could really coach someone on their situation, because first of all, every situation is different, right? But she did indicate that she went to therapy. She said at one point she had three therapists. I'm really not sure why you would have three therapists at the same time. I don't know. I got the impression that maybe she was trying to figure out which one was good for her. But I mean, when you go to therapy, it's some people who have this notion that the first couple of sessions, or the first 3 to 5 sessions, that you're going to be healed and you're going to figure it all out and you're going to be fine, you're going to know how to move on and all this stuff. No. Some people are in therapy for a year, 2 years, some people longer than that, right? Because you got to remember, you didn't been through all this stuff for so many years and now you're trying to work on it, right? But you peeling back the layers really of, how did I even get to this point where I had such low self-esteem, or that my self-worth is so low? Like, how did I even start there? Because I'm gonna tell you, it's some people who would have seen Derrick coming in that classroom and would have rolled their eyes like, he ain't nobody. It ain't no way he could have talked them into being in a relationship, let alone staying in one, and he doing all this cheating. They would have been gone like, who is you? No, So you peeling back all of the layers from your childhood, what you observed, and this is what I do in my sessions. Okay, I'm wondering, where did low self-worth come from? Like, once you get to the point where you realize that's what it is, okay, I'm wondering, where did you learn it at to settle, right? To accept less, right? To be in a situation where you don't put up boundaries, right? Because it could have been, okay, we together, but then you we together, and then I found out you cheated, and I decide to stay with you. Oh, we're finna put up some boundaries, right? These are the expectations if you want to be in a relationship with me. But it doesn't appear at no time that she did that, right? So where did it come from? Where did you observe that it's okay not to put up boundaries? Right? And these are the layers that you peel back, right? Because we're going to have to gain some insight. We're going to be find out, get you to a point where you're a little bit more self-aware. Right. And so now when you learn those things, you talk about the root of it and all of this, then maybe now you at a point where you can be a coach to people who have gone through something like that, right? Um and you have to learn also how to manage and cope with the triggers that you're going to experience when talking to these people, because they're going to say something that's going to trigger you about what happened in your situation, and how you're going to react, right? Are you going to give them suggestions and recommendations, or, based on what you did or what you would do or what you could have done? Like, you got to think about all of that stuff. And so I also wonder, is she a certified coach, or is this just based on her experience? So, nevertheless, y'all, this was so interesting. I had to come and talk about that. Y'all know I'm a busy working mom, so I have to go. I have appointments, but just wanted to pop in during this lunch break and kind of talk to y'all about that. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Ari says she needs to gather some confidence first before she coach anybody, or else she would be trauma bonded. Right, right. Like, come on. And you, she just, I wouldn't, right. Right. And people will pay her to do it. People will pay her to do it, because it's like, now you just now coming out telling, I would think, I assume that now she was just now comfortable enough to even tell her story, right? Because it's been a while since we heard, this was what, last year that we heard all this stuff about Derrick Jaxn, right? So you just now getting to the point where you kind of doing a little bit of self-reflection, like, okay, let me think about what position I put myself in, because she have to take accountability too. Of course, it's not right what this man did and how he, maneuvered in a relationship, but you got to take accountability too. Like, girl, you stayed in this mess. And now we go to, when you think about the children and what they observe, because see, people think that little kids, they don't know what's going on, but they do, right? Because why? They feel it, right? They see your facial expressions. They see that mom is, they may not know the words to say to express it, but they see that mom is laying down all the time. Mom don't feel good all the time. Dad is not around all the time, right? So they come up, right? So they making up stories in their own head about what's really going on. And that's anybody. If you don't know what the situation is, then you're going to make it up. You're going to make it up, right? But they're observing how mom handles conflicts, how mom allows other people to treat her, right? So as they get older, this is how they learn how to interact with people, right? So then this is when you start to think about things like, the patterns in families, right? Them growing up accepting less, the type of man that they're going to look for. Because I think she said she has, does she have all girls? I think she said she at least have two girls. No, I think she got three girls. And oh my God, this is the last thing, y'all. She said that the last child, it was either the middle child or the last child, came out. She described the child as being light skinned, right? And that the child looked like one of the women that he was messing with. So she felt like she couldn't love her child in the appropriate way because it was a trigger for her. Y'all, this lady is traumatized. She had even, I think she said some of that on her Instagram too, on one of her posts, saying that she was trying to basically transform into the women that he was wanting, that she felt like he was wanting or that he was looking for, because she was trying to be everything for him. Yes, she said she could not love her child. She couldn't mother her child in the appropriate way because the child was light skinned like the women that he was cheating on her with. Yep. And that's I said, Danae, how you about to coach somebody? Girl, that take years to again peel back the layers, to cope with, to manage, right? Think about the guilt and the shame you feel as a mom, even admitting something like that. And I know it probably took a lot of courage for her to even say that, but I don't even know if she realized what she said. So this was really sad. This is why I couldn't understand why the interviewer was laughing. I was like, what is so funny? I was getting mad at the bed. I was looking at my phone. I'm like, why are you laughing? Like, what is so funny about this situation? And so yeah, so let me know what y'all think in the comments. If y'all on a replay, let me know if y'all listen to, yep, let me know if y'all listen to the interview. And again, give me y'all opinion. I hope y'all enjoyed this live. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.